You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days fans. Let's talk about EJ DiMera and his bizarre pledge to stop Nicole Walker from leaving town with Eric Brady and their baby. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to discuss whether EJ can make his threat stick, a threat that he made just on the most recent episode of Days. So I have to say that I was shocked by what EJ said on, I think it was the Wednesday episode of Days of Our Lives, Wednesday the 17th, I believe. EJ was, of course, shocked earlier this week when Gabi Hernandez, actually late last week, when Gabi Hernandez exposed him at the press conference. And then he was absolutely speechless when Nicole Walker confronted him and raged at him right there at Town Square. And he knew she'd make a beeline for Eric Brady, and she did. Nicole ran to the airport to stop Eric from leaving town, told him the news, that's your baby. Then she comes back home to the DiMera mansion, and EJ got excited thinking, oh, she's back to talk things through. She was not. Nicole was there to pack her stuff and tell him, go straight to hell, don't pass go, don't collect $200. And EJ has been furious since then. He's been boozing, brooding, vowing payback on the people who wronged him. And then on that same recent episode, Johnny DiMera let EJ know in no uncertain terms he was ashamed of his father's actions. And to salt the wound, Nicole served EJ with divorce papers. She is wasting no time cutting ties. And then she was talking to Eric about taking their son and leaving town together. Remember, Eric was going to take that job in Paris, and it sounds like that Nicole wants to go with him and just go there, just relocate out of Salem. The only problem is EJ DiMera has gotten himself all worked up, jealous, and indignant. So much so that he marched himself over to the Brady pub to make a scene. Eric's mom, Marlena Evans, already slapped the smug off his face. And he's lucky that Roman, Eric's dad, didn't see him at the pub, because Roman probably would have thrown a boiling pot of clam chowder on the DiMera douchebag. Now, let me be clear. I actually love EJ. He's being awful right now, but I love him. He's hot. He's super sexy. He's built like a Greek god. I don't know why they constantly have him buttoned up to the neck and sleeping in old man pajamas. Why isn't he ever jogging shirtless and sweaty like Alex or Xander? I mean, all right, I'm getting sidetracked. But one more thing. I think we've seen Dan Feuerriegel shirtless like maybe 5 times since he's been on Days, and he's been on Days a few years now. In case you've not seen him on Spartacus from before he came to the soap, here's a glimpse of what they're covering up on Days of Our Lives. Take a look at that muscly goodness that they do not show us, and I'm pretty mad about that. I'm pretty salty about that. All the hunkiness aside, EJ is a devilish bad boy. I love him because I enjoy a good villain. But this time, man, he is really proving himself to be Stefano DiMera's son. EJ strolled over to the pub, marched upstairs, rapped on Eric's door, and decided to confront Nicole and Eric. I did think EJ showed some flair when he whipped out the divorce papers and told Nicole, I brought the divorce papers. And she thought, wow, my lying, baby-stealing, bribing husband sure is making this easy on me. And then she looked and saw he didn't sign them. I'm laughing now because I laughed out loud watching the episode when EJ told her that. And then he said, if you two think you can take that child and wander off into the sunset, you're sadly mistaken. And I was like, huh. So if you're current on Days of Our Lives episodes, you might have heard him say that and thought, what the hell, EJ? Are you crazy? That's Eric and Nicole's son. That was my initial reaction too. And then I started thinking about it. And then I did what I do because I'm a researcher and a journalist. And I dug in to find out, does EJ have a legal leg to stand on? Turns out he does, a pretty good one. So EJ DiMera could make this pretty hard on Nicole and Eric. He could get in the way of their happily ever after. He could get in the way of them leaving town with Jude. I'm sure you guys know the city of Salem is in the state of Illinois. So I went looking at the state laws in Illinois regarding paternity, custody, and parental rights, and it was very interesting. So no, Nicole and Eric cannot just up and leave Salem with Jude, not as things stand. EJ could have them arrested for kidnapping. Can you even imagine? Here's why. In the state of Illinois, paternity is a matter of the law, not biology, or at least not strictly about biology. Paternity is established if the husband was married to the wife at the time of conception or birth. EJ and Nicole were not married when she got pregnant, but they were married before she gave birth. So he met that first qualification for legal paternity of Jude. Another qualifier is if the dad is listed on the birth certificate. Baby Jude's birth certificate lists EJ as the daddy, not Eric, because at the time that Nicole gave birth, everybody thought EJ was the dad. Everybody except Sloan and Melinda Trask. So right now, EJ has all the parental fatherly rights to baby Jude. Nicole and Eric should absolutely be able to strip away EJ's rights, but that takes time. They'll have to get a copy of the real paternity results or run a new paternity test, hire a lawyer, have the lawyer file a case to establish Eric's rights, and ask the court to strip away EJ's current paternity rights under those two conditions, that he was married to her when she gave birth and that he is on the birth certificate for Jude. It would be a whole heck of a lot faster if EJ would just sign away his rights, but it doesn't sound like he is going to do that. And in fact, spoilers for next week, the week of July 22nd through the 26th, have EJ and Eric facing off in one final fight for Nicole, and Jude's in the mix. Now, I don't think EJ really wants to raise Eric Brady's son. I just think that EJ is salty because he got caught and he got dumped and he's all alone now. But if you look at it from another way, you know, EJ is grieving the loss of his son for a second time. The first time when he and Nicole thought their son died, EJ was grieving. He was devastated. And then the second time when he found out from Sloan that he's not Jude's biological son, he was hit a second time. So maybe EJ's just hurting right now and lashing out in irrational and hurtful ways. What I think EJ really wants is to turn back time so Nicole never had a drugged biscuit and hopped on Eric's joystick and got pregnant by another man. That's what I think. EJ was so happy when she turned up pregnant and that they were finally going to have a child together. And when they found out the baby was healthy, you know, he does love Nicole so much. And now he has lost everything. So I understand why EJ is unhinged, but let's hope he backs down. I do expect that EJ either says, you know what, I'm just going to stop, or that Days of Our Lives doesn't follow the letter of real life law, because Ari Zucker's last episode is Monday, July 29th. And I do expect that Eric is probably going to leave town with Nicole, but he's going to turn around and come back later because Greg Vaughan was filming for months after she left the scene. But we will know more soon, especially when we get those spoilers for the week that she goes. Let me know what you guys think.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.